2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 21st of April, and it's National Tea Day. And a big happy birthday to Queen Elizabeth II, Iggy Pop, Robert Smith, and Tony Danza. What a mix. Attempts to evacuate up to 6,000 more Ukraine citizens from the destroyed city of Mariupol did not go to plan on Wednesday, as a promised ceasefire to permit a humanitarian corridor never fully materialised. Ukraine's now offered unconditional talks to try and resolve the situation, with 2 Ukrainian negotiators prepared to meet Russian representatives in the city. President Zelensky warned that civilians remain trapped there and again called for more heavy weapons from allies.
If we had access to all the weapons we need, which our partners have, and which are comparable to the weapons used by the Russian Federation, we would have already ended this war.
Germany is now pledged to end its dependence on Russian oil by the end of 2022, and Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock says that the German government's been sending missiles and other weapons without any public announcements, and will also provide cash assistance. The US has announced a further round of financial sanctions targeting Russian banks, oligarchs and a Bitcoin miner. President of the European Council, Charles Michel, was in Kyiv, and he pledged full support from Europe for the embattled Ukrainians.
We are determined to do everything we can in order to support Ukraine, because we want the victory of Ukraine. And that's why we will use all the possible tools in our hands.
A new poll on Wednesday showed that 66% of people don't believe Prime Minister Boris Johnson is actually sorry for breaking lockdown rules. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer wasn't looking for an apology, but he did want to know if Boris accepts that he'd done something wrong.
Does the Prime Minister actually accept that he broke the law?
I've been absolutely clear that I humbly accept what the police have said. I've paid the fixed penalty notice. And, Mr. Speaker, what I think the country and what I think the whole House would really rather do is get on with the things for which we were elected.
He wasn't apologising either for remarks he reportedly made to a Tory party meeting in which he criticised the Archbishop of Canterbury for objecting to the government's Rwandan refugee scheme.
Slander decent people in a private room, let the slander spread without the backbone to repeat it in public. How can the Prime Minister claim to be a patriot when he deliberately attacks and degrades the institutions of our great country?
Boris has now headed off on an official state visit to India, while the government's tabled an amendment to Labour's motion due for debate on Thursday, asking that any committee investigation of Boris be delayed until the Met Police report is complete and the Sue Gray report is published. The long legal battle over WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange moved a step closer to a conclusion on Wednesday. The US has been seeking his extradition on spying charges over the release of classified documents relating to the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. He's been fighting to stay in the UK, where he's currently in Belmarsh prison, but a judge ruled the extradition could go ahead pending approval by UK Home Secretary Priti Patel. Julian's wife Stella Morris spoke to reporters outside the court.
Boris Johnson and Priti Patel can stop this at any time. They can stop it today. They can do the right thing and enforce Article 4 of the US-UK extradition treaty, which prohibits extraditions for political offences. Right now, they're in breach of their own treaty.
She's had support too from former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who pledged to continue the battle.
We'll carry on campaigning with our many friends all across the United States in support of Julian, free speech, journalism and democracy.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been back in the spotlight as the Invictus Games have been taking place in the Netherlands all week. The American networks have caught up with him too, and he spoke to NBC's Today Show about having the chance to visit the Queen.
It was great. It was just so nice to see her. You know, she's on great form. She's always got a great sense of humour with me, and I'm just making sure that she's, you know, protected and got the right people around her.
Maybe he's spent too long in the States, as he's also convinced that his mum, Princess Diana, is keeping a watchful eye on things.
Do you ever feel your mom's presence?
It's constant. It's almost as though she's done her bit with my brother, and now she's very much like helping me. He got him set up, now she's helping me set up. That's what it feels like.
Still to come on the Smart 7, things get a bit wobbly at Chelsea, and Johnny Depp's back in the witness box right after this. Welcome back.
3,
There was a whole host of Premier League action on Wednesday with 4 games including Man City versus Brighton, where it took until the second half to get the goals flowing, but they won 3-0. Newcastle beat Palace 1-0 and Everton and Leicester drew 1-1. The big game was the London derby as Chelsea played host to Arsenal, and there was huge drama as Arsenal sealed their away win with a last-minute penalty to make the score 4-2. That puts Arsenal up to joint 4th in the table and piles pressure on Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel, who had a strange scoring system in operation after the game.
We scored 5 goals. And lost 4-2, that's easy.
By that you mean?
3 own goals and 2 regular goals for us and 1 for Arsenal. That makes it 4-2.
He also had a grumble about the pitch at Chelsea's home ground of Stamford Bridge.
To say that the pitch is difficult to play here, maybe sounds like an excuse, but it is a very, very difficult pitch that we have here.
Johnny Depp was back in a Virginia courtroom on Wednesday as he continued his testimony in his libel case against ex-wife Amber Heard. He's suing her for $50 million over a Washington Post opinion piece in which she described herself as a victim of domestic abuse. She's counter-suing him for $100 million. On day 1 of his testimony, he spoke of his violent mother and disturbed family life. On Wednesday, he spoke about how his relationship with Amber became deeply dysfunctional.
You know that it's not true. And you know that it's meant as a weapon. It's to slice you up. It's to bring you down. It's to demean you. It's to bring you into a place where you start to believe that there's something wrong with you.
There's a brand new Netflix documentary on the way and it's pretty shocking. It's called Our Father and it tells the true story of one woman who found she had a long-lost sibling. Well, actually over 50 long-lost siblings. It revolves around a fertility specialist called Dr. Donald Klein, who secretly and unethically impregnated women with his own sperm rather than that of donors. The story was uncovered in 2016 and devastated families across Indiana. The documentary drops May the 11th.
When I opened up Ancestry, I had over 3,000 hits.
All of these random names were popping up and it said close family.
We all matched the name Klein. Dr. Klein was the best infertility doctor in Indianapolis.
Right then, I knew Klein was our biological father. So that's when strange things started happening.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.